as guest of the Governor of Bomet, Honorable Isaac Ruto, on Saturday, the 4th of February. That is this coming Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, sure.
Now that you've launched the coordinating team, my name is Gilbert from Citizens TV. Now that you've launched the coordinating team, does it have specific timelines, bearing in mind that we are inching closer and closer to the general election, and more specifically, the question of resolving outcomes the National Super Alliance presidential campaign?
Central members?
Timelines.
I think we said they'll start work immediately. Now, immediately is immediately. Everybody is aware. Yes, everybody is aware that elections are on the 8th of August. Therefore, we didn't specifically write there by 2nd February or by 15th February, and therefore, I think they are going to have to advise us accordingly, because they actually begin work immediately.
Yes. They have been given that, and we are also guided by the IBC timelines.
Timelines,
Yes.
absolutely.
What we want to assure you that we will have candidates in all positions in the coming elections. MCAs, MPs, women reps, senators, governors, the president, and the running mate. Okay?
Thank you.
I think that's good enough.
Don't take a picture. Steve, let's take a picture with this
This team now, come join us for a group picture. Karibu. Speaker, Bandit, come and take a group picture.
That was just the conclusion of a press briefing from the opposition leaders who are meeting earlier on today at a Nairobi hotel to map out a strategy to win the upcoming general elections. They've nominated a committee, a technical committee that will come up with a way of making sure all the four principals are happy, and also to come up with a candidate. Wiper earlier on mentioned that they wanted a candidate to be named by March. That will be clear after the technical committee that has just been elected right now and selected to ensure that all the principals there who actually with their standing all together, that's Honorable Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Moses Wetangula, as well as Musalia Mudavadi, just depicting the NASA unity that they claim that for the country to be liberated, then Jubilee must fall, meaning that they have every intention to ensure that they win the upcoming general elections in 2017, that is in August on the 8th. Our very own reporter Andrew Chieng is with them. We'll be catching up with him in just a bit, but generally the entire press briefing was based on coming up with a technical committee that will then find a way, map a way of coming up with the best candidate for the presidential election in 2017, which is this year in August. And they say that they will remain united no matter what happens. This coming just after Wiper had said that they wanted a presidential nominee, a presidential candidate from all the four principals named by March. That will be clear after the technical committee deliberates and finds out the best way to ensure that all the coalition members are happy. There's been talk that there's a possibility that they will fall out, but they were fast to say those allegations are baseless, meaning that they will remain united no matter what happens. Our reporter Andrew Chieng is also there. We will be talking to him in just a bit. We are following two events for you live. That is the one from the NASA opposition and the unity of the opposition coalition that has just ended. But our very own reporter Leila Mohammed is also following the doctors' strike. We're just from court right now. There was a 1-month suspended sentence which expired, and then they were given a further 5 days to deliberate and ensure that the strike is called off, but they still maintain that the strike is on. We'll be catching up with Leila in just a bit to find out what's been going on there, as we also look for Andrew Chieng to find out what exactly has just come up from the NASA opposition unity. And they've named quite a number of people there who are technical team to ensure that the 2017 elections is won on the first round. This coming during the time when also voter registration is also ongoing throughout the country, and the government as well as the opposition leaders are also urging most of the new voters to register in large numbers, because they say that the elections will be won based on the numbers that they get on the ground, and they say they have every intention to win this. I want to bring in Andrew Chieng, who was there in just a bit. Andrew, what stood out for you there?
Well, thank you, Trevor. What stood out for me is that finally the vehicle called NASA has been formally announced. Remember, during the Bomas meeting of aspirants in the opposition parties that took place earlier on, some people were saying that, especially the Ford Kenya chairman of the party was saying that they do not know this animal called NASA and have not been involved in its formation. So finally, it is Wetangula himself who actually started the press conference saying that finally there is vehicle formally that is announced that will be called the National Super Alliance, and that the formation of the committee now that has been mentioned has been officially given the mandate now to go ahead and start looking at the structures of the coalition and how it will be created. The committee will be looking for the ways of how the flag bearer and the running mate will be announced. Remember, all of them, all the leaders there are looking to be the ones who will be the flag bearer of the opposition coalition. But now that what stood out for me mainly was that now it has formally been announced and that the committee on how the opposition coalition will run has been formed. And remember, they're also saying that their first formal political rally together as a coalition called NASA will be held on the 4th of this month, this weekend, that is on Saturday, and that will be in Bomet County, in Bomet Town. There will be having a rally there. Interesting to see how that will pan out, given that Bomet is perceived to be a Jubilee stronghold. However, the governor has not really been a strong supporter of the government. He has been critical of it and actually has formed his own party called the Mashinani Movement. We will also be looking to see if other parties will be coming in to join this NASA, the super alliance now of the opposition. We have seen some politicians here who have not been members of the opposition from before, like since the election, but have now seemed to be coming with the opposition, probably wanting to relate more to it as the country heads into the next election. But as you mentioned, Trevor, what stood out for me, the formation of the alliance formally announced, and now the formation of the committee that will work into the nitty-gritties of how the alliance will run, the systems that will be there in the running of the alliance, and so forth. The presidential candidate not yet announced probably will come from among the leaders, the four leaders, that is Musalia Mudavadi of ANC, Raila Odinga of ODM, Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper, and Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula. So that is where we will be looking to see the flag bearer of the alliance and the running mate, and how the others will divide the other positions that will be there, either elective or appointive, if indeed they get to win the August elections. Back to you in the studio, Trevor.
Thanks, Andrew. That's Andrew speaking to us live from the meeting that has just ended. And like he mentioned earlier on right now, that NASA has now formally been announced, and there's going to be a rally on the 4th of March that's going to happen in Bomet, which is perceived as a stronghold of the Jubilee party, but that is where they're going to hold their first rally. That's on the 4th of March. We as NASA now that they've already been confirmed. And then there's also a committee that has been formed to ensure that they elect the flag bearer. That has not been made clear yet, but we'll be following those proceedings to find out who exactly is the flag bearer and the running mate as well, and also to find out if there are any elective positions and who they were the most likely to take. Like I mentioned earlier, we're following two events for you live. That's in the opposition NASA that has just met, and now I want to talk to you about the doctors' strike, and we are going to speak to Leila Mohammed in just a bit. She's been following these proceedings all through. This is the 58th day that the doctors' strike still continues. They insist that they want the 2013 CBA implemented before they go back to work. Justice Helen Wasilu had already given them a 1-month suspended sentence over contempt of court. Remember, that strike was ruled as illegal earlier on. After that still ended, and they were given a further 5 days to also deliberate on this, and they were told that they have to call off the strike or go to jail. I want to take you to Leila Mohammed, who's there. Leila, what's happening right now?
Well, Trevor, as you can see, we are walking a walk to the Parliament buildings of Nairobi. The doctors have been congregated here since 8 a.m. in the morning. They say the current issuance of another suspension by Judge Helen Wasilu is a big wake-up call to the government. They want nothing more than the CBA. They say after here they are going to hold a vigil in Parliament buildings where they will address the issue and ask Parliament to intervene. As they say, both Ministries of Labour, Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Health have failed to ensure that the 58-day strike that is ongoing, having been given another 5 days until Friday this week, will come to an end, Trevor. As at now, the procession has just left the Milimani Commercial Court and they're expected to go and probably stay there until when Parliament begins to sit at 2:30 p.m. They say they have Parliament's, in the wisdom of Parliament, they will be together with Parliament in terms of ensuring that the current crisis is coming to an end very soon, Trevor.
What stood out for you during the ruling after that? Are they still remaining on strike, or what are they going to do next?
Well, Trevor, many people on the government side are very not so happy with the ruling today because the judge seems to be keeping on extending these extensions that she gave 2 weeks ago. She gave them 2 weeks for which they should be able to come together. Last Thursday she gave them 5 days, and now Judge Helen Wasilwa has given them another few days. Many people say this is not as they had expected to happen, and many in the law profession, especially those who are representing the Council of Governors, believe that the doctors on their part have not shown any sign of goodwill in terms of ensuring that the current doctor strike has been dealt with, and the first step is to call it off, Trevor.
And you've been speaking to them a lot, Leila. What do they say? Do they want to call this off, or do they want to wait for that 3 days to end again and then see what happens? Is this just a wait and see game now?
Trevor, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, so as to compromise my news sources. But however, they say they are willing to stay here for the long haul, whatever it takes. At the end of the day, what they want is a full implementation of the CBA that was signed in 2013 as is, without making any changes or changing a comma or a full stop in any shape, way or form.
They're willing to go to jail for that?
Of course, they say they are willing to do anything, and if it means going to court to ensure that whatever they want to happen becomes a reality, they say they will do that. The doctors who signed the CBA in 2013 have been hailed as the true heroes because when they went on strike in 2013, the government sat down with them and said, hey, this is what we can agree, and now they say the government is going back on its promises of 2013, and they say now they have waited for 3 years. They don't mind waiting a little bit longer just so they get what exactly they want.
Leila, the tricky bit here is that the same judge ruled that this CBA that they keep talking about, the 2013 CBA, was not registered in court and therefore it cannot stand legally. How do they intend to circumvent that particular one and get the CBA implemented anyway?
Well, it was expected that the judge would make a final decision today, and they expected that she would be very harsh in her ruling. However, she seems to have toned down and to be giving reprieve to the doctors, probably being seen as a means by the court to try all it can and go as long as it could to ensure that the current crisis is dealt with. When she spoke on Thursday, Judge Helen Wasilwa was very categorical that what she wanted to hear today was that the Kenya Medical and Doctors and Practitioners Union will be able to call off the strike so that they can give enough time for consultations. As we heard in the morning, Senator Mutula Kilonzo having said that the Ministry of Labour has not been able to intervene. However, in December, we saw CS Phyllis Kandie for a whole week try to intervene in the middle, and yet even her efforts were not able to bear fruit. We've seen the head of state himself come in so many times to intervene. However, the doctors say what they had agreed with the president, the minister, the cabinet secretary for health was not able to make sure that the wisdom of the president was adhered to. They say he has been the stumbling block in ensuring that we don't get a clear roadmap as to when the doctors will be able to go back to court. And basically that is their bone of contention. They say he is holding close to his chest the interests of private sector industry, and probably that is the reason why they believe he could be the stumbling block. Trevor.
And finally, Leila, the government has given an offer, 40% pay increment, 10,000 shillings risk allowance, a higher job group for the doctors. What is their take on that offer that has been given by the government?
The bone of contention is they want a salary that we will enable them to have a good, comfortable, soft landing once they retire. They say the 40,000 shillings will not be enough to ensure that they get a good compensation package as well as a retirement package. They say that is very little money. The doctors spend a lot of money in terms of training and ensuring that they are up to standard in terms of their work ethic. They believe that the 40,000 being offered, 40% being offered on the table is not enough. They expected that at least the lowest entrance doctor will be able to get 325,000, having received a maximum of at least 100,000 basic salary. They say 70,000, between 40 to 70,000 is not enough to ensure that when they retire, they have a good soft landing package.
All right, thanks, Leila. That's Leila Mohammed speaking to us just outside Parliament, where the doctors, the KMPD officials and the doctors as well are going to hold a vigil there, hoping for the intervention of Parliament after having been given a further 3 days to deliberate on the strike and call it off if possible. This is coming after another 2 weeks was given earlier on, and then there was a 1-month suspended sentence. We'll be keeping you updated with that. The doctors insist that the 2013 CBA has to be implemented before they go back to work. This is the 58th day that the public hospitals are running without doctors. I'll be giving you more details at 1 p.m. That's in about 50 or so minutes. Stay with NTV. I'm Trevor Mbija. More updates coming your way.
This is NTV.
Hi everyone, we are glad you tuned in to NTV. Here's a quick look at news-making headlines in business. We start in the coast where commercial banks have begun selling 6,700